Hello, welcome to Study Effectively by Dipja Sahota. I wish I had known how to study effectively before last school year. Why it's important to me? Knowing how to study effectively is important to me because if I had known beforehand how to study effectively, I would have shown much more progress in my assignments. I would have managed my time better and be able to understand the concept I'm learning easier. How that time was difficult. That time was difficult, especially when I realized the amount I studied doesn't get me through the quizzes. This school year, I remember we had a class reading and we had a quiz on it the next day, but when I saw the questions, I wasn't fully sure what to write and guessed on it. For some reason, I didn't even remember that we had read the answer to the questions on the quiz. The other problem was I didn't go back and reread the chapter at home and skim through it the next day before the class and thought I would remember, which is why I wasn't able to expand on my thinking during the discussions on the topic I was learning, since I just finished the homework and didn't focus on studying again. This picture represents how I was on the day of the quiz. How I arrived at my solution. I arrived at my solution by figuring out the best way I learn and focus, organizing the place I study to make a calming environment so I don't feel overwhelmed. Scent can affect learning. Having a nice lilac, peppermint, or any refreshing scent keeps me focused. Personally, for me, temperature can affect my studying. For example, when it's too hot or too cold, it can make it harder for me to study. When it's too hot, my brain doesn't function properly and my hands sweat, which makes it harder for me to take notes. I choose a place and a time that works the best for me, and I notice at night when it's cooler and quieter, I'm able to think better. Set a schedule so that even your family knows when you study. I use a planner to keep my goals and classwork organized. I put on study music mostly without the lyrics so it keeps me from distractions. I write down things I don't understand to ask the teacher or go over it. Last but not least, I choose which assignment to do according to which one is the easiest to hardest and which one takes less to more time. Practice makes perfect. Advices and solutions. Find the best way you learn, like hands-on, visually, auditory, reading, writing, and etc. Review your work. If it's vocabulary, I recommend reading the vocabulary out loud and writing down the definitions yourself on note card and go over them. If you are preparing for a time limit test, I recommend setting a time for yourself to see how many questions you can answer and if your pace is good or not. It's good especially if you're going to take the PSAT or the SAT. The more questions you answer, the better chance for higher scores. Write a to-do list or a checklist or even have a planner and keep it somewhere you'll have easy access to. Write down things you don't understand or things you want to review and learn. Make sure to ask the teacher or someone if you're confused on a concept or a problem. Don't hesitate. If you're at home, tell your family when you're studying so you don't get distracted easily and it will become a routine. Color code your notes if they're helpful. Teach yourself what you learned after you study everything so you can see if you remember things or not. And put music accordingly if it works for you or not. And silence is always not the best. For some people, having a silent environment doesn't help. So find a environment that is the most helpful for you. What I took away for the future. Something I took away for the future is when I study effectively, it helps sharpen my memory and to understand what and why I'm learning. Another thing I took away for the future is to make sure to read the rubric and syllabus more thoroughly to understand what I'm getting graded on. If you can't study effectively, it's harder to manage time. Have all your materials in one place so that there's nothing keeping you from doing your work and wasting time. Lastly, I learned that you need to value time and understand how important it is to use it wisely. Just seeking for motivation isn't going to help you. You just have to go for it unless you're not focused or serious at the time. Thank you for watching and listening to my presentation. Bye.